It's Issuenight!
Thank you once again for joining us for another edition of Issuenight. Don't forget, we're on this YouTube channel, as they call it. Don't forget to hit this button. It's called subscribe. I don't know where it is, but when you see it, hit it. Just hit.
Press.
What
just
it is.
press lots of stuff.
Okay,
Just
press lots of stuff, including this button. Okay, let's get rid of that. All right. If you've never seen the show before, we talk about we talk about serious issues of the day.
every week.
Every week.
Yeah.
And shoot, Tony, we have housekeeping to do. What did you want to remind me that I'm supposed to talk about?
Oh, yeah.
What?
I mean, we're here every week. Sometimes they're on the live version. Sometimes they're on the pre-recorded version.
Which one are we right now, Tony? Which one?
Well, we appear to be live.
Okay.
And last week we were pre-recorded, but we're live too. I mean,
At one point.
at one point.
All right. So what's the difference? The difference is right now we're here. Where last week we weren't here.
We weren't here last week.
But,
Okay.
But we had a show, and we had to have a show because, well, we had to pre-record it because the issues that we were addressing were just too important to wait. So we had to record it. They're just so important that we had to do it right away.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so am I here now? I mean, am I supposed to be here or should I not be here?
No, you're good. Yeah.
Okay, this is where I'm supposed to be.
You're here right
but
now.
if we pre-record next week, I shouldn't come in to work.
Well,
or to work here.
you should log in and chat like Mike and I did last week.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I should be
like
logged
that.
in somewhere if I'm not here.
Right.
Okay, so kids at home, make sure you're logged in. Make sure you always have that device with you. Log in.
All the time, yep.
Okay.
If you're alive, is it a live show?
Exactly.
Yeah. It's not really live. I mean, there's a delay.
If you're
You're
watching
never really
it,
live.
if you're alive and you're watching it, it's a live show.
For you.
Yeah.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
So
Subtle difference.
Perfect.
So
I'll write that down.
Are we supposed to delay this now?
No, we're good.
Instead of trying to be live, no.
Just be yourself, Jay.
Okay, why don't we get on our first set of issues, which we like to call Nursery Rhyme issues. Again, part of the show, we try to be informative. And, people write into us and they're like, hey, there's these nursery rhymes out there. I have no idea what they mean. And so we're going to look at some of these. We're going to see what they mean. Do we have the live stream? Are people
I don't know. I don't know how to get the live thing up.
We're going to work on that.
Where is it?
The viewers alive.
How do I get this up? This
Anna's
OBS people.
alive and Rachel's alive and Buffalo.
If anybody
Lifesavers are
knows
alive.
OBS, how do I call up the chat
Okay,
screen?
so if you're typing in, just be patient. We're going to try to get this up. The people from YouTube are working on it too. They're supposed to, maybe some guy is typing in the code now to get us live so we can actually watch what you're typing into the screen.
Well, you guys can see it until I figure it out.
Okay. Mike, can we go to the
Chat box.
to
Help me, child. Young
the
child.
computer?
Docs? Chat. Got it. Thank you, young YouTuber.
Thanks, Gabe.
Go ahead, Jay. What do I do? Wide shot?
Yeah, if we could
There you
get
go.
to hear the nursery rhyme and well, we already did.
Oh,
did the
good. We
credits,
did that
so
already?
yeah,
I wasn't paying
yeah,
attention.
so
I
it's
don't know
okay.
what's going on.
All right, one of these times, one of us needs to pay attention. So let's get to the nursery rhyme here. I don't know if we're able
I don't know how to do
to
that.
go to the.
I don't know.
The
Oh, yeah, we
freeze
can.
is still
Sure.
shot.
No. What is that?
No. Okay, there we go. So
Can you select just that spot? You don't know how, do you? That's okay. Just read it. I think
Okay.
people have
All
really
right.
big TVs.
So this is a nursery rhyme that's called Rockabye Baby. Okay, so I'm just going to read what it says here. It says, Rockabye Baby in the treetops. Wait.
Move your papers.
Okay, first of all, if we look at this picture, is something wrong here? Am I the only one that's seen like someone put a kid in a tree? Number one, Tony, can you do that? Is that okay? Is that,
Well, I mean, he's got rails up, right, on the bed.
okay.
Well,
so,
OSHA. Right?
Yeah.
So does that conform to, like, if like for, I think in OSHA in Section 13,
Not ocean. It's OSHA.
I thought I said, okay.
Ocean.
So when putting a child in a tree, what are the steps, Tony? What do you need to do?
Well, it depends. Is it your child or is it like somebody else's child? Is he an employee?
It's
or-
probably going to be mine because, I mean,
Okay.
you knock on a door and you're like, can I put your kid in a tree? Some people might say yes, but I'm guessing most
Yeah.
might
So
not,
OSHA doesn't apply, but maybe like the Product Safety, Consumer Safety Commission has got rules on tree beds, probably.
Okay. So, all right. So I guess parents, if you're putting a kid in a tree, just pay attention to this picture. I guess this is some good information. There's rails up.
Right.
The kid is not falling at this point, so let's keep reading on.
Is there a seatbelt? Is he got a 5-point harness? It's hard to tell.
Listen, this is pretty bad, Jay. I mean, in my opinion. I mean, they got a kid in the tree. I mean, when did the father have time to do this? I mean, I have 9 kids. I'd have no time to build a tree house, let alone suspend a child from 4 wires up in the
Well,
air.
Mike, this is pretty easy. You just take the kid's bed, when he's out of it, and then put it in the tree, take some nails or a screw gun, screw into one of the limbs of the tree.
Better not be pine, Jay.
And maybe get some brackets and put them under, and like Tony said, just make sure there's a rail and he's got a 5-part harness. This is easy, Mike.
Yeah,
This
but
is
There's a suspension wire coming off the
yeah, but
corners.
how do you balance 4 wires? And if it's windy, does it twist and the kid falls off anyways?
Well, I'm assuming they used a level when they put it up
Maybe.
there just to make sure it was even.
This
Good
kid
idea.
doesn't
probably
look
a laser
level, though.
level because it looked like they did a really good job.
I mean, is this kid up during the winter? I mean, did all year round does this kid sit there?
Well, maybe they're like near closer to the equator, and the weather
Maybe.
doesn't play too much into effect.
Maybe.
Well, every child in New York State has to have a mattress. So, this kid, he's got a mattress.
a blanket.
It could be anywhere. If he's in a tree or hovering or something, he's good. He has the mattress.
Can I just
So it's
point
good.
something on this picture too? So like I wish I could point. You see the rocker things? They're triangles, Jay. Okay,
Yeah.
they're not a rock. Even if this thing was on the ground, the kid's on the floor.
That's probably why they put it in the tree because it wasn't rocking.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. And is
Okay.
that
Probably
is that
recall.
blanket?
And
Sorry.
they did a recall and said, it's not rocking. And they said, well, all you do is you suspend it from a tree.
I see.
And then it'll rock.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to get to some of these comments.
Go ahead.
Anna has a good point. Like, as long as it has a seatbelt. We're assuming this kid has a seatbelt. It's not a 5-point harness. People at home, make sure it's a 5-point. But Rachel's saying he's in timeout. Actually, so some people are saying this is, like, maybe punishment.
Right.
The kid might have
Sure.
said a word he shouldn't have said. He's disrespectful. He's not obedient.
Oh, disrespectful kids. Oh.
Yeah.
It could be a timeout. The thing is, how does the kid get up the tree? I mean, does the parents do a ladder and put him up there, Jay? I mean, I don't know.
I think probably what happened is they put the bed there first
Okay.
and they put the tree grew.
Oh, I see.
And so the kid was a baby.
I know what
and
you're
the
saying.
Tree grew, and then he's up there now.
But Tony, the kid's like, I don't know, 2.5, and that
That's-
tree's got to be 30 years old.
Fast-growing tree. You get
That
lots
tree
of
looks like
fertilizer. It could happen.
I don't know, that tree has to be at least 10 years old.
10.
I mean, just based on the diameter of
It's
it.
got a like some kid decided to do, see that thing in the middle? Some kid took an axe, probably why he's in timeout.
All right, so why don't we keep reading? Sorry.
Keep
Why don't we
reading, Jay.
Okay, so it says, when the wind blows, the cradle will rock. So, Tony, I mean,
To my point, yeah.
all right, so it's
bad.
something could
Real
happen.
bad.
And it says, when the bow breaks. What is a bow? Does anyone know what that
A
is?
ship, Jay. A ship has a bow.
Okay, so the front part of this is what we were talking about.
That's
so
the ship.
The problem is
Well,
that
you
if,
bow, right?
I guess. But how does a bow break? How do you break your bow? I don't know.
if you're going to put this in water, it's really not. Waves are going to slam into it. It's not breaking any waves. It's a square front.
Well, if ship hits an iceberg, maybe you break the ship. I think that's happened before.
Okay, so all right, so we have someone's asking, did any of you ever have a toddler? I don't know, maybe some of us here, but they can get anywhere.
Oh,
If they want to be bad,
build
they
it and they'll get there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
But I mean, okay, so the parents know. I mean, they know that when the wind, what is it again?
Wind blows.
When the cradle will fall,
cradle
when it
will
rocks, the wind blows, that baby will come cradle and all.
Oh.
I mean,
Okay.
the parents
See that
know.
part.
Is this preconceived?
When
I mean,
the bow
what? It
breaks,
seems dangerous.
The
will fall.
cradle will fall, and so at some point, some bow is going to break. The front part, the cradle's going to fall,
But they know it, Jay. The parents know it.
and
Well,
they
it's-
put them
it's
up.
in
there.
It's in the directions.
Yeah. Why do I have a
so
shadow
they-
on me? Where's that coming from?
They have to know it. It's right there in black and
It's
white.
the cradle.
Okay.
It's cradle.
So this kid, if he falls, what's going to happen? It says down will come baby, cradle and all. So I don't know. I think maybe it's a lesson for the kid. Like, hey, kids, next time you're in a tree and the front part breaks out and you start sliding out, maybe it's good experience to him. Maybe, could this build reflexes? Could it, could it?
Yeah. So you think it's an exercise in helping the kid out? I mean,
Well,
I'm
maybe
thinking-
maybe the parents showed the kids the picture first. This is what's going to happen, kid. Listen, stop talking back to me. Stop giving me lip.
Otherwise,
Otherwise,
we'll
we're
put
going to
you in
put
the
you in the
tree
tree.
and you're gonna fall.
Read this.
Now, see, that
Okay,
builds
read
character.
this.
That builds character, right?
What
And
kind of
as
character?
someone who spent many years
In a tree?
as a toddler and also in trees, I can definitely speak to being in similar situations to this.
The
Not an
kid
exact
does-
situation. It does build character.
But the
When-
kid does look comfortable, and he doesn't look like he's
well,
crying.
This child looks like he's gripping. He
Does look like he's gripping.
on
Yeah, on the
with
left
both
hand there.
hands.
You're right, both hands. He's really nervous.
So, yeah.
Now,
he's
if you were
definitely aware of the
read,
wind.
if you were read this, wouldn't like it? I don't know, Mike Pearl. Does this give you nightmares though? I mean, were you up in a tree? Did this happen to you?
I mean, it depends on the baby. Yeah,
Yeah.
ultimately,
I'm-
some.
if I read this story, I'd be like, scared for life. I think.
Everyone's got to understand that this is what happens when you're bad. If you try to take an axe to a tree, you're gonna get put in the cradle, and it's gonna get hung by a tree,
the
and you
tree.
just have to adapt.
if I have to ask you 5 times the same thing, you're going to be in a tree.
All right, so Buffalo Lifesavers has a good point. It says this nursery rhyme reminds me of people who record animals attacking people on their phones while not helping them at all. So, so someone is sitting there. Isn't even a photo. Someone sat here, set up a sketching board, and is drawing this child who's helpless in a tree, who's about to fall. We know he's going to fall, but the guy's like, "Hey, I need to get this picture done in time before I have a deadline. I got to draw this." And he's not going to help the kid in the tree. And the question is, should the illustrator be helping this kid, or should he be trying to get his picture in on time to meet the deadline?
Yeah, there's definitely some liability. I would think. Whether it's tort liability or general liability or
Yeah.
Well, he's got a contract. He needs to get his picture done. He can't. He's
Contractual,
not
yeah.
contracted out to help the kid. He's contracted out to draw the picture of the kid in peril in a tree.
The other thing
That's
too
his
is,
job.
Yeah, and you have to understand too that there is some liability on the people that constructed the cradle. I mean,
Yeah.
for starters, the cradle should be able to withstand when winds that'll blow it enough to rock the cradle.
Yeah,
I mean,
if you're in Florida or something like that.
Yeah, well, if the baby's outside all the time, it's clearly in a warmer state, right? And that
Yeah.
means likely near a state like Florida that
Right.
gets a lot of hurricanes.
Good
And you need to
point.
be able to be built for that.
You think they could retrofit it then with hurricane bows and shutters and stuff?
Yeah, definitely better harness. I think better construction. Ultimately, like I think we're using. I mean, especially with the supply chain issues right now, the wood's getting cheaper, the screws are getting cheaper. Like it needs to be able to stay sturdy.
Right.
All right, so this could be a test here. They're like, hey, we got to test this baby cradle. We have to test it because a hurricane's coming. We're gonna test it, and unfortunately, we need a kid in there because we need to see if the kid's gonna fall or not. So, Pearl, that's a good argument. Like you need a kid in there. You don't know if it's gonna work, so they need a kid. Maybe they're getting paid. Maybe they're compensated pretty good, Tony. I don't know. Maybe we need the kid in there to know if hurricanes are going to break
Yeah.
cradles and trees.
How else are you gonna know if it works? That makes
Okay.
sense.
All right. If you just joined us, you're watching Issuenight, talking about important and serious issues of the day. We're going to actually continue on with the 20. Sorry, with this. We have one more nursery rhyme issue, and we call it.
There's no title here?
Oh, I can go back to that.
No,
Sorry.
yeah, you better do that.
Sorry. Okay, so again, in case you forgot, we're talking about nursery rhymes.
Nursery rhymes.
And now this one, we're talking about Instead of this one, we're talking about Jack and Jill. So there's a nursery rhyme called Jack and Jill. Some people have heard about it. In case you haven't, here's how it goes. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Not sure why you have to go. Anyways, Jack fell down and broke his crown, and Jill came tumbling after. Why would a kid be wearing a crown trying to get some water? Do we... Is this what we need? Is there some danger, Tony? Is there a hazard that he needs to be wearing some metal protection on his head as he's going up trying to get water?
Yeah, I wonder if the crown, like, they're heavy, right? They're made out of gold and stuff. So maybe that caused his head to be... Unless
it's the Burger King crown, and that's made out of paper, and it wraps around your head, and it's adjustable, and you can put it
sizes,
here. But the problem is there's little crown parts. Kids, like, kind of peel those off, but that's the only other crown I can think of, Tom.
Okay.
So
we don't know which crown he had.
Either the Burger King crown or a real crown,
yeah.
right?
So it was a heavy one that would make your head heavier than it should be, and that could have caused him to trip and fall, right?
We have a comment that says maybe this kid was part of royalty, and they're saying that's kind of strange. Why would royalty have to go up and fetch water? Pearl.
Sure. Yeah, well, he definitely wouldn't be used to fetching water if he was royalty.
Yeah, I mean, it could be fancy water too. I mean, keep in mind at this age they're probably not ready for full royalty. Just a prince, not a king status, and this might be one of the tests they have to do to prove they can be king.
Okay. Well, this kid's failing it because he dropped the water, and whatever girl that was helping him now, she can't even keep her balance too. She comes telling me she's losing a shoe there.
Her hair, I mean, to fall, she's falling pretty quick, Jay, because her hair is straight up.
That's pretty impressive, yeah.
And you're talking about an easy, what grade of concussion.
And the boy has time to put his hand on his head. And I'm not sure the timing of this photo.
Mike, he's scratching his head. So that's obviously, there's head lice there, there's scabies, there's something going on with this kid. And maybe the crown is the issue. Maybe that lice is attracted to some crown. Like the Burger King crown, I mean, you got to watch out. They've had recalls on those from lice. Yeah. Kids,
they can cut
if you go to Burger King, make sure,
check for lice.
Lice-free ones, yeah. Mm-hmm. That might be what the water's for, to wash the hair.
Well, I think it was an accident, Tony. Wasn't it?
They didn't plan on it. Why are you going up there? To get the water so that you can wash your hair.
Yeah. Did we read the rest, Jay? Then, Jack, did you read that? No, vinegar?
I don't think we did yet.
The vinegar?
I can't read it because I can't see what it says. But
then up Jack got and home did trot as fast as he could caper. He went to bed to mend his head with vinegar and brown paper.
So vinegar.
Is it vinegar and brown paper? First off, I don't know what brown paper is.
So is he fetching vinegar for the lice to get the lice out of his head?
Vinegar probably kills lice. And it was a paper crown, obviously.
Oh, I see. It was the Burger King.
Oh, that's the brown paper.
That makes sense. Yeah. Okay. I don't see a crown here.
Yeah.
Those vultures there look like they're ready to pounce on these kids.
Well, they could be. I'm wondering if there's part of the problem. Like they go up there, they're attacked by birds, and we've said this all along, kids. There's rabid birds out there. If you're not protecting yourself, if you don't have a crown on your head, and you're trying to protect yourself, you're not wearing the protection. Parents, take care of your kids. Let's get a crown. Let's get something that protects them from rabid birds.
Right.
At least a chin strap, so the crown stays
chin
on.
strap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And especially if this is the same child from the previous nursery rhyme,
right.
if they were in the cradle, right, and that they had a bad experience, I'm sure this might be a very similar situation. Bringing it back, they might re-trigger an injury that they had. So we got to be safe with that too. That all goes into consideration.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Anna's asking a question here. Is vinegar safe for your hair? I mean, vinegar's safe for everything. I mean, you could pour it in your eyes. You have open wounds, put it in there. Get a straw, like put it in your ear. Mike. Yeah, like everyone. Yeah. So vinegar's safe for anything. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You just joined us. You're watching Issuenight. We talk about important and serious issues of the day. Why don't we get on to our next set of issues, which we like to call bubble hockey issues. Tony, what's going on with bubble hockey?
Well, it's bubble hockey season, so you know what that means.
Yeah.
time to select your fantasy bubble hockey team.
Yeah, baby.
And so we need to come up with some rules. It's like, what's the format?
Snake draft.
Snake draft, okay. And then, are we going to... I'm wondering, is it going to be a league where we're going to select specific players?
Right.
Is the Russian goalie from the 80s
Right.
still available? Or is it just by position? How do we want to do it, and how we're going to do scoring? So there's
Right.
lots to discuss here.
Well, there is issues, Tony, with the amount of players. So it's pretty much the same players play every game. So if a player gets hurt, or should I say damaged, he's out for the whole season, and you can't replace him unless the guy comes in and fixes him.
Well, and then you have who's going to play the player. So the problem is you're hoping you get the semi-drunk beer patient putting in the quarters who is fairly capable of operating the players. What you don't want is the 100% drunk guy who doesn't know what he's doing. And then you get, or the 5-year-old who's just going to put in the quarters and spin the guy in 20 circles. So,
but let's just say, for safety's sake, like if I was going to do a draft, I think the Russians lost in the Olympics that year, didn't they? Is it 84?
80, yeah.
So I wouldn't pick the Russians.
the Russians lost in '84.
It wasn't at the Olympics. Is that?
Well,
Joe Rosiani, Joe Rosiani.
The thing
Rosiani.
Yeah, that was
80.
That was 80.
Oh.
So, but in '84, because the Russians lost so much, you were getting double Big Macs from McDonald's.
I
Like
remember
every
that.
time you won a bubble hockey game and your Americans beat the Russians, you got an extra. It was a buy one get one free Big Mac. So I remember that year. Yeah. So
you might need to go back further, like the '76 Russian.
But are we
goalie
allowed
might be
to
better.
draft those players? Like,
Well, that's what we have to decide. I mean, it's our league. We make
True.
up the rules.
there's a good question here. Can they draft the booers as well, or is it just the players? So
I see.
Some boo buttons, like it's pretty harsh. Other boo buttons, I barely hear.
Would it be the booers or points per boo?
Well, that's what we got to decide is how we're going to do scoring.
Yeah.
And obviously, a boo against your team should count against you.
It could affect your team.
The
You
biggest
should lose a point.
The biggest difference maker, I think, is going to be if you do points per slap or not. Because
Yeah.
ultimately what decides which players get ranked higher than others is if you have points where it's just you're only scoring and maybe assists and saves, or if you got somebody just whamming away at the
Whacking
midfield,
away.
and if you make contact with the puck, do you get a point for that or not?
Yeah.
That's the serious thing. I
And
think we need
goalie
to address.
save percentage, right?
Yeah.
Every time you save, that should be a point.
Oh yeah, but that again, is that considered a slap?
What's a slap? A slap shot?
Like when they
a
Whack?
a whack.
make a motion, a whack. Is
A
it?
whack?
It's called a whack.
I don't know what the official term
the
is.
problem
but
is whoever's got the guy with the extra big stick that has to get around the boards because they never made the bubble hockey. And we talked about this before. They did not make it to regulation, so they have to give the guy an extra stick. Whoever gets that guy's going to slap a lot. He always slaps a lot. Kids purposely grab that one and start slapping things.
But that only matters if it's points per whack.
Yeah.
Per whack.
Well, that's why we got to have the rules, because if we're going to have a point per whack, I might select that guy first.
You can do half a point per whack.
Half a point? A point
could
every
be
10
doable.
whacks,
Half a whack?
maybe?
Half whack.
Maybe a half a point for half a whack, or
Half a
maybe
whack?
a quarter point for a half a whack,
Quarter
Well,
whack?
and then a full point for a slap.
Okay.
Okay.
So you
And
need
how many for a goal?
6.
Okay.
I don't know why I came
How
up with
many
that
for
number.
a
It's a weird
save?
number.
Can I say something? So the problem here is different kids play the game. So 1 week, Freddie, Louie, give me a small kid's name. Billy.
Oh, Billy's up
Give
there.
me another
Randoms.
small kid's name, like
I think
Fanny.
yeah.
No one's called Fanny.
I think Timmy. Timmy's up
Timmy.
there.
Okay,
pretty
Timmy's a
high.
good one.
Yeah.
So little
Yeah.
Timmy's playing, right, 1 week, and then he plays against his dad. And Timmy always likes, the Americans, right? Well, that's a problem if Timmy stinks and his dad whips his butt every time. I mean, that could be serious problems. Like if you drafted those guys in that league, at that table.
Yeah.
I mean, what about the table? I mean, how many tables are we talking about? Is it one hangout? Is it one store? Is it one location,
yeah,
Jay?
Do I draft the center from Flappies?
That's what I'm talking
No,
about.
what they have to do, they have statisticians, hundreds, maybe thousands of them, and they're by the games, and that's what they do. That's their job. They have to stay there.
But
and
how
they
do
have
I
to
know who to
watch
draft?
little Timmy play? They got to watch half drunk Bubba play. and they got to write down the stats or text them.
But Jay, it's the same number for every game.
Yeah.
Every
Well,
player. So,
you
like,
gotta
how
get-
do I draft? I have 5,000 center.
Yeah, you're drafting the guy out of Flappies.
I need to know if that kid's going to be back there. Is he in town? Is his dad going what?
You're gonna have to do the research.
Yeah.
You gotta get the books.
Do
got
I
the
have
books,
phone numbers? These boys and
The
kids.
books. You gotta
Yeah.
go to the stats.
Yeah.
You know the new math that they're using,
Yeah.
and just play the percentages.
You understand what the child behind the sticks is ultimately going to be what makes or breaks your fantasy year. And
Right.
That's
And how do we know who the child is? It's like
There has
in
to-
fantasy football. Kelsey. Right. I got him. He's hurt.
yeah.
I
And
don't
you know
why
what
he
the
didn't
coach is
start.
too. Like the coach is basically the equivalent of the kid.
He is.
Right.
But how do I know who's playing? I don't know when this
Yeah.
kid's playing. Why is that fun, Jay?
I have no idea what you just said. I'm reading the comments
Okay.
here, and like it says, who is the highest draft pick for goalie this year?
It's goalie 1 or goalie 12.
I think it's the goalie that actually can go all the way back. Most goalies
Yes.
it's their jam because someone shoved gum in there, and there's a broken pencil. And there's some kid's pacifier there, but the one that was goalie is really clear, and that's rare. That's the one you want to draft.
No,
So,
Jay's right. Some of them get stuck.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think the one at Finnegan's gets stuck all the time.
It does.
And
That's
consider who the
unfair.
goalie's against.
Well, that
too.
That's like an injured reserve type thing. You're going to have that happen. You're going to have breakages and things, stoppages and cloggages and
Whackages.
yeah.
if you just joined us, you're watching Issuenight. We talk about important, serious, newsworthy discussions. And why don't we get on to our last set of issues? And this is actually what we want to give you guys is an election update. So my understanding, there's some election going on. I think every year we have elections in this country. I think it's either every year or every month. Tony, what's the update now?
Well, they're rolling out early voting. Actually, they're rolling out extra early voting, and various states are trying to decide, how early to let you vote, and it might
How
become
do
an
you
issue.
roll them out? What are you rolling?
I don't know. They must be round
Okay.
because they're rolling.
There's like giant
So-
mosquitoes attacking us here. We're in a garage, by
I
the way.
voted. I remember I voted for this November's election. I voted 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I
don't know who
pre-
ran.
That's pretty early.
That's
Yeah.
early, and I think that's was standard. 2 years in advance, you could vote, and you didn't need to be an American. You could be from any country, and some animals voted, I believe.
But how do you, like Jay, you don't know who's running, right? You don't necessarily know who's running.
That's a good
so
point.
how do you set it up so that your vote goes in for somebody? I mean,
Yeah.
That's a problem.
I just pick the red colored guy, and then I just send it in. I say that just pick the red colored guy for me, and I just send it in.
And I don't want to change the subject, but as I understand it, you're allowed to vote multiple times ahead. So every year you can vote
Okay.
for whoever it is.
Well, they are coming up with an app. It's kind of like in fantasy football. If I don't show up for my fantasy bubble hockey draft, I can auto draft.
Mm-hmm.
So they're coming up with apps where it'll auto vote.
Auto vote.
So I can set up, for next year, the year after, the decade after, and eventually my vote will be cast by the auto vote.
Auto vote.
Auto vote.
Auto vote.
Okay.
The Autobot app will
So this is what you
it
do. You're
auto
saying
vote.
Vote.
you
bot.
vote early, you vote
Yeah.
years in advance. Maybe you draw a picture of what you think the guy's going to look like. And then in the end of it, the robot's going to vote for you.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I might not be there. I mean, which brings up a moral issue. It's like, well, if I die
Don't,
or I
don't
move
die.
out of state,
Don't do that
Let's go.
either.
That one's
Okay.
a little better, right?
Uh-huh.
Move out
A
of
little
state.
better.
Or out of the country. Does my vote count if my app puts my vote in?
Yes, it does count. Actually, everyone's vote counts. In fact, Canadians' votes count too.
Okay, so we're merging issues here. We have someone saying, how do the bubble hockey players vote? Can they vote?
Yes.
And does it affect my fantasy team choices? Like, do you want to pick the bubble hockey guy who's going to vote for the candidate you like.
They do get 3 points for every vote, I believe,
3 points.
3 points.
in fantasy.
Okay.
We have that rule?
We do now.
Oh, okay.
So Jay, like I've already voted in the next election
Yeah.
twice,
Yeah.
and so I'll be able to vote again next year.
Okay, good. But the bubble hockey guys, in order for them to vote, the lever's got to be twisted and the stick's got to hit the right level.
No hanging chads. Yep.
Yeah, and that's the problem is they slap it not all the way, it's halfway, and we're like, did you want this candidate or this one? And then they don't say anything, and that's the frustrating thing is the bubble hockey guys say nothing.
So that's how
They
you
never
know.
talk, and they want to do all these things and they can't communicate, and it seems like they don't want to communicate. And I'm fed up with this. We put lots of money towards this. We put lots of effort, and they just don't say a thing.
I just want to say something that hello, Rachel. Thank you, my godchild. Thanks for watching Issuenight. Say something, please. We need you.
She just said, "Is there a bubble hockey president?" So in the bubble sphere, have they voted, and is there some type of?
They've got to have representation, right? At
Yeah.
every level.
Yeah.
We've always talked
Players
about the show.
Association, league.
Every biosphere needs representation, and the bubble hockey guys are no exception.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what was the main problem here? The fact that early voting, extreme early voting. How 10 years, 20 years? What are we talking about here?
Well, I don't. It varies by state.
Have you
confusing.
voted already for any future
Well,
elections?
I'm still waiting for them to get the app fixed
Oh, I see.
because they're using the artificial intelligence
Oh,
program,
right.
And then
Not the actual
the-
dumbness.
the artificial disintelligence
Well, it
and
might be
dumbness
dumbness.
is
Right,
another
right.
option.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of doesn't matter with the quality
It
of the
really doesn't,
candidates.
yeah.
So
Oops. Thing broke.
All right. We're actually out of time, so we just
We got another show coming up.
We have another show
Liquid?
coming up, so stay tuned. We just got to reset
is it
Reset.
a
a little
live
bit.
show or
This
is
is live.
So
It's gonna be live.
We're live.
thank you for joining us for another edition of Issuenight.
Where is it? All right, we don't know where to go back. Okay, we're good. We're back. That was it.
All right, so can people hear us now?
Why they couldn't hear us?
I know. Can they hear us now?
I think your mic was just echoing.
No, I mean
Yeah.
now that we're off the air.
Yeah, now
but
that
we're
we're-
on
Oh,
the air.
I don't know.
Gabe,
Yeah,
are we up on audio?
Still on the air.
All right, are we up on audio?
Off on audio?
Yeah, so people can hear me, right? You didn't put audio all the way down, right? Okay,
It's
great.
just showing
So a
now.
little audio conversation there. So yeah, thank you everyone putting giving comments and things like that. Look at this, Issue Night 2. There's someone out there.
I think that's Tony.
No,
I'm
disappointing.
really is disappointed. Is Alexa? Oh, Alexa is here. I'm here too. Hi, Alexa's excellent.
Okay.
So listen, we're in between shows, which is really exciting. You get to see what we do in between shows. What do we do, Jay?
Well, we try to set up for the next show. We might say, hey, that worked, that didn't work.
What worked, Jay?
Well, we try and prioritize the issues because there's important issues and there's
Yeah.
important issues.
I gotta go
so
white chat real
We
quick.
gotta decide which issue to spend more time on, who's going to introduce it. All the things that a normal newsroom would
Okay.
do. you know.
Yeah, and also if people out there have ideas what you would like to see us eat or sip or drink or anything like that, maybe put it in the comments. We don't have an email yet because we're just lazy. But put it in the comments and then we can definitely acquiesce to that. Our next show should be pretty good. Pearl here came up with a good issue, so that's probably gonna start us off, and then we can get to a couple other ones. We're gonna go back to Nursery Rhymes. That's what I have to do. So why don't you guys talk? I'm gonna bring up the other Nursery Rhymes.
I'm trying to
that we're
fix
supposed to talk
audio
about.
issues.
Tony, you got something to say?
So
Keep them busy,
we've
Tony.
got more nursery rhyme issues that are burning important. We've got a bubble hockey, more bubble hockey issues, which are always important, and we've got some
Capture levels. I think
I don't
that's
know, Pearl. What do we call
We got the mascots.
the mascot?
mascot
Check.
contract
very,
holdouts.
very, very important.
Major issue to follow
ma-
at
major,
the start
yeah,
of the
so,
season.
So make sure you tune
we
in
love
for
you
that.
too, Rachel.
And then we've got some overhead cam echo issues.
Yeah, so I'm going to go to overhead. Who said that? Buffalo Lights. Now, if I'm on the wide shot here, you're hearing an echo when we talk. Is it gone now?
is it
Buffalo.
gone now?
Is it gone?
Echo. Hello?
Is it
Hello?
gone?
I don't know. We're all talking. I'm on the wide shot.
Okay.
She's typing right now, I'm sure.
Anna's typing. Well,
No, I don't know.
doesn't help.
Anna can't tell unless she goes outside.
Is it
Mike
gone?
solved. Mike
Oh,
solved.
yeah.
Mike, M-I-K-E
Mike.
solved or what?
You did it, Mike.
you've been south, Mike.
So listen, I feel like there's how many people are watching it now?
Yeah, I like your jersey.
Three people?
More than that.
I don't think so.
I had a lot of
it's about
names.
three.
Checking right now. Top chat.
Alexis, Buffalo, Anna,
I used to text a bunch of
Rachel.
people. They'll
Okay,
be
so listen, that's great. So we need to start getting the word out. What do you guys have for suggestions for issues? Anybody have anything? I'd
Well,
like
we're-
to see Oreos.
we're going
Okay, that's
to-
a
We're
great
actually going to
idea.
address that.
We are?
in
Okay.
the
We're gonna
next-
address that.
Okay, but I want Oreos right now. I don't want to just address it, Jay. I want
Do we have Oreos on set?
No. We had a lot. Guys, I'm sorry. I had a bag of popcorn, like a
Yeah.
giant one, and I brought it to a party. We ate it. I'm sorry. So I really have no food left.
Can we
I had
do
the Genesee
do
beer,
have
but you
orange
guys are
rinds.
slobs.
Quick DoorDash.
You guys like get beer all over the place. We can't. I don't know if we should drink. It's a kid show.
Tony, I don't know if you want
Are we even allowed to drink beer on
change
a-
the bubble
I don't
hockey
think so.
issue.
No.
Yeah, it's technically alcohol.
Is I don't.
like,
I don't
do
think
they
It's
want
not.
alcohol
It's not
is
live
just
television. You
No, I
can't
don't
drink.
think you can.
You can't drink
Bubble
beer
hockey
in a
rules.
live commercial, but
Oh,
we can.
that's
We
part
can.
of there.
I mean, I don't even
That's in
like
there.
beer.
It's in there?
But-
Yeah.
All right. Is that part of the All-Star thing? Or
Yeah.
is it? Okay. All right. Okay.
So
Good
what?
enough.
So what are we doing? What's the lineup?
Rachel's
You
just
said it.
First one is mascot issues, then more nursery rhymes and bubble hockey. So,
Okay, Pokey Little. What's your
Order of importance.
Buffalo? I said Pokey Little Puppy review.
Pokey Little Puppy.
Is that
no,
a song?
no.
Is that a song?
That's a book.
What about
That's a book.
sushi, Rachel? I love sushi. Sushi?
to
Sushi.
eat it during the show.
Oh, I see. You can't really throw it though.
You can eat
Oh.
it though. That's what matters.
It's-
the
Oh,
most.
you're saying okay from Buffalo Lifesavers there. Yes, good issue suggestion. Could do that a different show though. However, okay. Are we good? Are we
I don't know.
good?
I think we're good. I think we're ready to go. I'm ready
Right.
to go here.
Gabe,
We're
you
gonna
good?
Let's really attack it.
All right,
Let's
let's
really
do it.
attack it this
Let's do
time.
it. All right.
Let's say a
Slap
prayer.
and
Let's say a
whack.
prayer again.
Okay, good.
All right. In Father, Son, Holy Spirit, Amen. Thank you, Lord, for providing the skills necessary to do your will, to create humor, whatever good that is. For we do everything for your glory, Lord, even this show. And I pray for everyone watching right now. Bless their families. Bless their time. Bless their Sunday. Amen. Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Okay, let's do it. All right. I'm gonna start wide. You're gonna come down because I'll edit this later, Gabe. So we'll go wide shot and.
Going to black.
okay.
or
Here you go.
just-
It's no, just well, I could. It would be good. Jay doesn't have black there.
I
Okay.
don't have black. Sorry.
Okay.
All right. Jay.
Okay.
So, thank you for watching another edition of Issuenight, where we talk about serious, important, newsworthy issues of the day, things that we don't let them get by.
Don't.
Because we're on YouTube, we're asking if you could subscribe.
You
That
probably
would help
already
us
have
out.
subscribed. Hit it now. Subscribe, the alert button, so you know when we go live, and post a comment. Whoa, did my screen just change?
Okay. So, Mike, if they subscribe, can they post a
didn't
comment
subscribe.
that we can read?
Wait, it's over here.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
But go ahead. Yeah, we
Okay.
can read them. Yes, we can read, and we'll
All right, fair enough.
thumbs up them.
Okay. Let's get some housekeeping right away.
Housekeeping?
If they want to submit issues, what goes on, Tone? What do they got to do?
Well, first of all, people should kind of vet the issues for us. So we should list the criteria,
Okay.
right? So it's got to be
Important,
yeah,
serious, pertinent,
relevant. Yeah.
So, if you want to talk about, I don't know, like
Dogs?
well, no, like say hey, the debt ceiling's getting too high. That's not important. That's not what
It's
we're
serious, right?
And it can
But
affect us.
And it's
But
pertinent,
it's not
but it's not important.
And we may go like, yeah, the world can explode, and we may be all impoverished, but that's not what we
Not
want to talk
important.
about. Yeah.
important.
Okay.
Okay.
So, all right, but
So-
what is a serious, like, what would be something that we would accept?
Well, I mean, bubble hockey, of course. If there's something going on in the bubble hockey world,
Okay.
or some sort of technological improvement that
Like new scents and like soap smells. I don't know. That might be impertinent.
Yeah.
And important.
Or
And
animals.
and very relevant if you need soap.
Yeah.
Yes. Animals trying to be like people.
That's
so
good.
that's important.
Or
That's
an animal, some sort of animal, like a mythical animal living behind the falls.
worthy. Okay.
Oh yeah.
So those are the issues we're looking for. Those are the issues that people need to know about.
And
Okay.
then if people want to submit them, they can, to Mike's earlier point, go to the, what's it called, a chat? You can ask somebody under.
Yes, I believe so. I have someone
Chat
texting
underneath.
me about they're watching another episode of Issuenight right now, but why aren't they watching us live? So that's what I'm
Yeah.
a little
Watching
focused on
it
right
live.
now.
We
I might go.
discussed this last show. We're here now, but we're not there
gotta
where you're
see that.
watching. We're not there, but we're here.
We're live.
So come
God.
over here. All right.
So right in the chat.
I'm not ready, Jay.
Or also in the comments, like the comment section.
Okay.
right?
Can you do that? I've never been to YouTube, so I don't even know what you're supposed to do
Yeah,
on that.
no, like
that-
underneath something, there's comments. So you
Okay.
can do that.
All right.
We don't have a working email, but you could use snail mail.
I
Yeah.
will have working emails soon. I just ran out of space.
We would put a YouTube credit up here, but they won't allow us to. So
Yeah.
so we have no idea. So
So if you just find a snail, it'll get it to us. Or if you can't find a snail, I think last week somebody listed all the different ways of getting all the different animals that will deliver mail
Slime.
to us. Eels, right? Eel mail.
Yeah.
And skunk. I don't recommend a skunk. I don't think Mike's wife would allow a skunk
they
in
wouldn't.
the house.
okay, we tried that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
But
see, he's
there's
putting his
probably
kids to
other
bed.
animals as well that
Okay.
would work.
All right. Why don't we get on to our first
do
set
it.
of issues?
Oh,
if we
all right, here we
could.
go, do it.
And,
Mascot review. Mascot review.
all right. Pearl, you joined us, and
Yes,
this is your
Pearl,
issue.
yes.
What are we talking about?
Thank you. This is to your last point. This is important, serious, pertinent, and relevant. Serious issues
Okay.
going on in the football financial world. Obviously, teams have cap space. They only have so much in finances to invest in their team. An important player of the team that doesn't get a lot of talk is the mascot.
Yes.
Right, the mascot is ultimately really the
glue.
general, the field general of the offense and the defense and the
The
special
13th
teams.
man.
The 13th man behind the fans and the 11 on the field, and they're currently in massive contract.
They're the
holdouts.
ketchup.
Okay,
you know,
so
like
wait,
a
this
hamburger.
is you're saying the mascots are affecting cap space.
Well,
with
right now, so
teams.
the mascots, like, do we have the example on screen here?
Yeah, we have a sample of
there you go.
mascots. There we go.
So these are the mascots, right? And the top left one is the duck.
Yeah.
Their latest contract, $500 million guaranteed for 3 years.
Okay, for a duck to walk around, and they're saying this is important, so we need to include this in the cap.
Yeah.
We got to make sure
Is it-
that we have the duck included
Just
in
for
the
clarification,
roster.
are we talking about these are mascots for actual teams? We're not talking about hockey anymore. These are actual teams.
No, these are actual teams, Mike.
right. And these are
yeah.
and so they're demanding that much money, and
Yes.
are they getting it?
It's an $80 million annual cap hit, at least. And
So the team.
on the team, yeah.
So-
and the key of this is that now you have this issue between, do you pay your mascots, or do you let them go to not pay them, then wait for the next mascot to come along?
Is there a practice squad for mascots?
I believe there's definitely a training camp, but there's the practice squad.
Okay,
But
so you can they can get on waivers, and then you just pick them up later.
sure, yeah, you can pick them up. It's like running backs where you can just keep picking them up. But the mascot is imperative to your team. Like, if your identity, is this like the cardinal,
Yeah,
or the ghost, I think on the right there on that
Let's see it
one.
and find it.
Yeah, the
Oh, yeah.
ghost on the
The
right.
ship.
Or if it's a ship, I mean,
I know.
How can you replace a
We'll get a
ship?
mascot. You
Yeah.
know what? The tigers, the bears, the ships.
and you wouldn't want to settle for like a squirrel,
No,
right?
Squirrel.
no.
Okay,
Exactly.
so they're drafting these guys, and who here has got the highest value? Which mascot on this image has the highest value?
Can I
Here.
interrupt a second? There's better chess training. I think I follow this guy on chess, and he joined our I'm a
Okay.
follower. He
He's
joined.
wondering if he was alive, and Tony, I think you responded to him, and you let him know. Because if there's no one there to poke you or do CPR or anything like that, you may not know. So those are great questions. So please keep those coming. So
I love chess, and I'm not good in it, so maybe we can play sometime. All right, where were we? I totally interrupted you, Jay. I have no idea what you're
We're
saying.
talking about
Chess is good.
mascots,
This is
Okay.
and
mascots.
I'm wondering, so are you only allowed one, or do you have a practice squad one? And how does that work if one gets hurt?
Yeah, well, I think there's a reserve. There's one on the reserve.
The reserve?
Yeah, but I mean, it's like I think most teams have two, and then one on the practice squad, right?
Okay.
But that one is like the guy.
Yeah.
Right. It's like your number one quarterback, but even more valuable.
But they don't really do anything for the game. And what is all different sports here? we're
don't
talking
do
about?
anything for the game.
Well, I'm just saying they
Michael.
help the team. They help the team like morally, happiness.
yeah, but Mike,
joy.
they work just as hard, and Buffalo Lifesavers points that out. Like it's hot, it's dark in there. You know, and some of them have trauma. You know, you're in that costume and it's so dark. It's like solitary confinement.
Yeah.
You know, they have the new HALT legislation that's supposed to end this, but these guys are still in solitary, dark confinement, sweating. They're losing weight every game. They come home weighing less than they did when they started. And she's right. There's no recognition. No one knows who you are.
And they're
people are
out
like,
there-
hey, I'm the mascot for him. People are like, no, you're not. I don't know who you are.
They are out there hula hooping, an imaginary hula hoop,
I
like
like
their
how you
life
say
depends
that,
on it.
hula
They are
hooping. I like that.
dancing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've seen
I
a
don't
lot
know.
of them. A lot of them have head trauma. What you're talking about,
Yeah.
trauma, Jay, because they have big heads. A lot of them have head trauma, just like the
of
NFL
injury
had the
risk.
problem with the helmets and like the concussions. It's worse for these guys.
So
Did you ever
they're-
see them lose their head during a
so-
game? It's horrible.
Because the heads are so big, you're saying the person in there actually has a head that size. Because how else is that head going to stay?
Yeah, I mean the guys that don't have it's a smaller head. You see it fall off, but the
Yeah.
guys who have big heads, it stays on.
It makes
better.
the skill set unique.
Yeah, in all this talk about feeling sorry for these guys, I mean, the type of money they're making, it's hard to feel sorry for them. I mean, they're getting hazard pay for all that, the
Right.
big head,
Right.
jokes and everything else.
Well, yeah.
Uh,
There's also an issue of I believe on the left there's a pirate miner on the middle on the left there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The mosquitoes pointing out for us. Thank you there. That there's rumors of a contract holdout. Like he won't
Okay.
mascot until there is a contract.
Well,
Is that a ghost?
That's a mountaineer.
What,
And
the
that-
ghost there? The
That
kingdom
guy
ghost?
climbs
Oh, the guy on the left.
mountains,
Oh, left,
and
yeah,
you're
left.
right, Pearl. He's at the top of the mountain because he's holding out. So
you
at
see my
some
mouse?
mountain, you may see this guy, but he's not where he should be. He's not on the field. He has trauma.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's not coming down until Tony. There's enough hazard pay for that.
So what are we talking? How much money do these guys make?
Well, we got the latest $500 million contract.
Okay.
Right. That's
Over-
But where do they get that money from? I mean, an NFL team costs what, $3 billion?
I
Who
mean,
can
at
pay a
least-
mascot $500 million?
I mean, it's maybe why we're seeing prices for concession and tickets go up. We got
would say so.
We got to make room. I mean, I know the NFL isn't, or excuse me, not the NFL. I mean, whatever league this is we're talking about is.
I don't
you
know what league this
They're
is.
not budging.
I've
on
never seen any of these mascots.
Cap
yeah,
space.
this Alexis makes a good point. They should install little fans. They've actually installed the air conditioner. So if you look at like the whatever that robin
larger
or cardinal, whatever the thing is with the W.
Which one?
The
No,
W
the other
on
one, the other W
This
next
W?
to it in red.
Oh, no,
it's
I don't
in
know where I
red.
am. W
See
there?
There's
That
it's
thing?
the bird. No,
No, on the
it's
right.
the bird in the red.
Wait, the
No,
bird in
go
the
over
red.
to the right. There we go. There we go.
That guy?
No, that
Over
one.
there.
Yeah.
There.
That guy with the W. So this one, they put the air conditioner like on the top of the head. So like it's drilled in, and now they have it blowing right on the head, and the head is getting cool, but the rest of the body isn't. And he's walking around. He's got to walk around not only with the mascot costume, but with an extra 100 pounds because of the air conditioner. And then there's a cord, and he can only go so far because it's plugged in. You know,
It's kind of like, Jay, when I go skiing, I stick a lot of those hand warmers down my toes. And my toe, like basically my toes are super warm. One toe is warm, and the rest of the body's, you know what I'm talking about? Wouldn't I ever do that?
Everyone's done that.
Yeah.
Everyone's done that. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And also, someone brings up like, how do they pee? How do they, if,
Well, it's
if
just
they
like
need to relieve
astronauts.
themselves, what are they going to do?
It's just like astronauts, Jay. They
it's
just go.
It's just right there. And this is the problem. People are watching Mascots, and then, mom's like, Susie, turn your head. There's a puddle.
It smells.
there.
Leaking, yeah.
We're not going to look at the mascot in the puddle. You know.
Well, maybe a solution is mascot by committee.
Yes.
Mascot by committee.
Like
So
a
like
tag
maybe
team kind of thing.
well, for the first part of the game you have a cardinal, and then the next part you have like a penguin, right? You
What
just work
about
with
some
so
of the?
keep it in the bird family.
It
if
depends on
you're-
your skill set. Like if you're losing, you could switch back out to like a tiger, but if you're winning by a lot, you could switch to a penguin. So it's a skill set thing.
Wouldn't that be confusing to the fans, though? I mean,
Hey, as long as it's dancing and tossing T-shirts, I think the fans will be happy.
okay.
Some of these guys, like these mascots, they get the whole, what's it called, Jay? When you try to get more money, things. What is it? When you say
Hold out.
that's
not hold out.
picking.
No, you
crops,
you can actually. They will give you money for things.
You know,
give you money for things when
red
you-
eye, the red eye
do
flight.
something like you're famous, and they give you money. They like give you
paparazzi.
Chessmaster.
Like crowd.
no,
control.
no, but you give them they give you money. Like you do something, and then people pay you. To do
U.S.
it.
Mint.
No, like like
Employment?
Oh gosh, what's the word? Employment. It's kind of like employment, but you're like
employment.
like there's what is it, Jay?
Subcontracted?
Subcontract. No, like you're in a commercial and they give you money for that.
Royalties.
Advertisements, right?
Branding.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Royalties.
like if you like they're getting a lot of money for those type of things. Like
Oh, yeah.
some of
They're
these
in video
mascots don't look great when you like in Nike commercials and things like that. Like they're getting contracts. I mean, it's a bird. I mean, look at his feet. He's got like three toes. They made a special Nike shoe just for this guy.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, I don't know. Is it gonna make me want to buy a shoe?
We got to get to some of these comments here because like this is good. Better chest training. Like we talked about, like again the puddle of urine, under there. They point that out. Isn't that mascot shaming?
We
I
all
think
been
that's what he's
there.
talking about,
Second grade for me in the gym.
Yeah, that happened in 5th grade. I laughed so hard I literally peed.
Jay,
right
I had
through.
to go to the nurse. They made you go to the nurse, and then they basically gave you extra pants, right?
Yes.
But everybody knew the pants. Everyone knew, like, those were the pants of shame. where you
Here's the
peed
thing:
your
in my
pants.
school, there were no pants, so you just wore that around,
with the big
but
circle in the
Yeah.
crotch area. I'm sorry, it's just true. I'm sorry, I don't mean to get. It's what happened, and
Yeah.
and these mascots have to deal with this every day, every moment.
yeah.
First when they have to
There's
pee.
some more here. Like someone's talking about like Thunder. Where is it? The worst. What is the worst mascot? My school's is Thunder. That's a good point. Like
These are all pretty bad.
How do you dress up like Thunder? I think what you have to do, you just have to make the sound. You have to go around and make the sound, and
So you're invisible other than the sound? Is that?
What is that thing?
well, or you are maybe by a speaker. You dress
Yeah.
up, and you're
is that thing?
you somehow
That's a
fit
guy.
into a speaker, Tony. And then the speaker is playing Thunder. You just have to listen to that for 4 hours.
It's kind of like a jet goes by and you can't tell where it is. You just kind of look
Paper
around.
maker.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Do
yeah.
you see this? Look, it's
So,
a paper maker.
That's hazard pay.
This guy's a paper maker.
Okay.
That's his mascot. He makes paper.
And he worked hard to get
He
there.
makes money.
Yeah.
On the ghosts.
Okay.
What's this guy?
Go, Jake. Wanna comment?
Okay. Well, hold on, Mike. Go back to the paper maker. This guy. Not only is he a mascot, but then when the game's over, he's got to go back and make paper.
He does.
So.
But he makes a lot of money, Jay. I mean, seriously. I mean, he makes tons. He makes millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Make paper, fine. When
Okay.
someone's rich. I mean, I don't know how many games he works. It depends on what sport. That's the problem.
Yeah,
some of these
they're-
guys work in baseball. They work 80 games. Hockey, work some games, but, what other sports are there? Football. I mean, work 17 games.
Bubble hockey.
Yeah.
Jake wants to know how much the guy who cleans out the mascot costume gets paid.
Good point.
Well, I
Is
think
he
they're
in
employed
the
by
cap?
the team. They're not part of like the cap hit, or they're not part of like the official 53-man
So
roster.
you can pay him as much as you need to.
Right. They're separate.
So
Yeah.
they don't hit against the cap. They don't hit against your roster.
Right.
But if we don't have these guys, I don't think.
What happens, Jay? What happens if we
I don't
have
think the
mascots
paper
for?
maker's getting back into the costume if we don't pay this guy. So they need to be recognized.
I hope owners and mascots can seriously work this out, because this will be a serious issue that could last a long time. As well as once they're paid, I hope they deliver. Right, they don't just
Oh, yeah.
stop. There's no just hold out, because that'll only hurt the need to pay the mascots.
Thank you for joining us for this edition of Issue Night. And tonight's no exception, where we talk about the latest issues of the day. Why don't we get on to our next set of issues, which we like to call Nursery Rhyme issues. So we
rhymes
spoke about, I think there was Jack and Jill and Rockabye Baby. This time we're now going
Jay?
to mention It's called
Get
Hush.
there, Jay.
Sorry,
Get
I'll
there,
get
Jay.
there. It's
Get there.
Hush Little Baby.
Hold on, let me take over a second.
Here,
You got it?
You got to click
Let me
it.
take it over a second.
If you click it. Just make sure you
Oh,
click it.
man.
So sorry, we don't have a picture, but we have words, and it's important. Nursery rhymes have words. Words have meanings.
What happened?
At least that's what I'm told.
Picture of words.
Yeah,
not
here,
working,
let me,
Jay.
if
Oh, there
I
it
click
is.
it, there
Oh,
we go.
gosh.
So this is Hush Little Baby. I can read it, or someone else can read it. Either way.
Why is that weird?
Hush, little baby. Don't say a word. Papa's gonna buy you a mockingbird.
Oh.
And if that mockingbird doesn't sing, Papa's gonna buy you a diamond ring.
Let's stop there, Jay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's stop there. Okay, first off, don't say a word. He's saying don't say a word. Because Papa's gonna buy you a mockingbird. What's a mockingbird? I have no idea. What is that?
It's kind of a bird that does make fun of things. It's not a nice bird. I don't
Do they
recommend it as a
talk?
pet. No, they make fun of you. They sit there and just all day.
Mockingbird?
That's what they are. They're right.
It is what it sounds like. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so
For a
if that
change.
mockingbird won't sing, okay, so Papa's gonna buy a mockingbird. Okay, I don't know why the Papa would buy him a mockingbird. He wants to mock the child out. They want the bird to mock him out, Jay.
Anna is a
sounds
good
threatening.
point here because why would you buy a mockingbird? Why would you buy a diamond ring? Why
Well-
would you for a baby? Why would you
Yeah,
do that?
exactly. What is that's ridiculous? A diamond ring, safety issues. Not only is it expensive. I mean, what are we talking about here,
And
Jay?
mockingbirds aren't cheap either,
No.
especially singing ones. I mean, they don't sing. That's why they're called mocking. They're not singing birds.
Right.
Yeah.
But why do they have such high standards? If that mockingbird won't sing, Papa's going to buy a diamond. If that diamond ring turns brass, which I don't know what that means because the brass color, do we know, Jay?
Well, if the diamond ring, the only thing I can think of is if it's a ring pop. I maybe it's
see.
shaped like they're normally shaped like a diamond.
Yeah.
And if the baby's got the ring pop, then maybe the baby's going to be okay with that. It may actually hush down with the ring pop. Everyone knows sugar works well with kids.
It does.
So
Yeah. I have
it's
lots of
probably
sugar
not a
in my
bad
kids.
idea.
I saw my kid eat 3 donuts in 30 seconds today.
Okay,
That's
fair enough.
incredible.
So what else?
Okay, so and if that what?
Looking glass gets
Oh,
broke.
and I skipped
you missed,
some.
yeah.
Okay, so and if that diamond ring turns brass, Papa's gonna buy you a looking glass.
What is ethical? What's the decision making tree here? What is the guy going for? Why is he buying weirder things every time?
I have a feeling he's at a pawn shop, and
Oh, I
there's
see.
only certain items he can buy. I mean, you
point.
can't go into a pawn shop and buy, windshield wipers. So he's like, I mean, the only thing I got here is a looking glass.
Right.
I've never seen a baby look out of one, but I'm going to try. I'm desperate. The kid just won't quiet down.
Is the
point.
kid
Definitely
does
not
the
at Walmart,
ki- No,
so-
definitely not Walmart. Does the kid keep breaking things? Is that what's happening? Is the kid keep breaking things, and that's why the father says if you? It's if then statement here. It's a computer program. Is he gonna Why does he keep buying him things? I don't understand this. And this is famous. This isn't I don't know when this came out, when they wrote this, and I have no idea what it's about. But this is serious.
Yeah. Well,
Pertinent.
okay. So there's an ongoing discussion. People, you got to catch up with us. People are still on the mockingbird. Someone saying if it doesn't sing, isn't that good enough? Because it's mean. And then they're like, well, someone else is if it's not singing, it's too busy mocking. Less mocking, more singing. Folks, let's not get caught up with the mockingbird. Let's focus in.
Yeah, we've moved on.
We've moved on.
Yeah.
Well, they might be 40 seconds into the past because the stream. But Rachel, is he an only child? Definitely. This kid is spoiled rotten. And look
Okay.
at that. If that Billy Goat, I bought him a Billy Goat. They
So
broke
now
the
we're at-
glass. Now he's gonna buy him a Billy Goat.
So he's on a farm now. He's on, or he's driving down the road and he's just like, I'm just gonna.
You know what? This
Grab
sounds
that.
like a garage sale. I think they're like.
Yes.
yes.
Yeah.
You know.
definitely.
But a diamond ring, Tony. No one sells a diamond ring
This
in a
could,
garage sale.
this
Well-
could be junkie finds in the junkyard, and it's just like, all right,
Yeah.
well, if this doesn't work, I guess I'll try this.
Right. Yeah. He's kind of
Whatever pleases
can't-
the baby.
He can't, make a decision really.
Yeah. Okay. So.
So Billy Goat, and I don't know where you get a Billy. Does anybody? I've never seen a Billy Goat in this area. Is there Billy Goats?
No, there are. My neighbor had one, and the billy goat went around and around a tree and strangled itself. Unfortunately.
Really?
So, sorry,
no way.
kids.
Seriously?
That,
Well,
but
that could
did
happen. then. That makes
So,
sense. So then he gets the next point.
Yeah. So the billy goats tend to strangle themselves. So now you got to move on, and they say Papa's going to buy you a cart and a bowl. Not sure.
Okay,
what
so
that's going to do. Like,
Why
maybe
would
help
that? What's
pop
the
the bull.
trigger? What's the trigger thing
Where
here?
do you get a bull?
That's what I'm talking about in a cart.
You can get bulls. Walmart's got them. Yeah,
Do they?
you can go in the garden section.
Tractor Supply?
So yeah, you can get them. Yeah, Tractor
Oh.
Supply.
But I mean, why? What's the decision-making process here? You know, the goat gets what happens to the goat if he won't pull? Why is it? Why is he pulling anything? Why do we need him to pull? If that billy goat won't pull, he talked about nothing about pulling. Why is that the standard here?
Pull the
All right.
baby?
You know, Lexus is getting a little mad here. He says, how can this guy afford this stuff? What does this man even do? Lexus seems a little bitter. Alexis, I don't know what's going on with your job situation, you know, but, you know, some people can't afford these things. You know, we shouldn't get mad at that.
Yeah, especially
you know, you
garage
should
sale.
celebrate their little
Especially the
successful.
mascots.
And maybe someday you can buy looking glasses and bowls and carts and that. But, you know, until that day, please don't make fun of him.
Well, he might
get
not
a
be able
job.
to afford this either. He could just be maxing out his credit card due to desperation for the baby.
He might.
Like, it could be just desperate. Maybe he's just trying to buy the baby's love back with whatever
He is trying to
can.
buy the baby. Exactly what he's doing.
And nothing's working.
Well,
but wait.
normally it works, but it's not working here.
But
You're
again,
right.
back to the pulling. Does he have a job for this kid? Like pull what? His car? He wants him to pull stuff.
Like
so
a
he bought
pole, like a telephone pole, or
no, like I think it's pulling something, Tony. I don't think
Okay.
it's pull. I think
All
it's
right.
POLE, and this is PULL.
So Buffalo Lifesavers is making a good point. They're saying maybe now you got a cart and a bull, but maybe that's for the other fairy tale, like the rockabye baby, to get the baby out of the tree. You need a bull to pull the cart, to pull the rocking thing. But, you know, as we explained, Buffalo Lifesavers, I don't think they paid attention. Like, we got to wait till the hurricane comes through and seeing if that kid is still in the tree in the cradle. And until that happens, no kids coming down and going in a cart. That's dangerous.
Jay, for this one, like these are the things like for homeschooling. When I select homeschooling material, my wife does. These are the type of the things I don't list. This is not one of the things I would teach my children.
No.
Because
Yeah,
this guy,
I mean-
look at, first off, logically, if Papa's going to buy you if that billy goat won't pull, Papa's going to buy you a cart and bull. We did that. If that cart and bull turn over, Papa's going to buy you a dog named Rover. First off, I'd start with the dog, okay? Work your way up.
Yeah.
I mean, don't give the kid everything he wants at that
How
point.
give a kid a bull? I
Get-
can't
okay,
imagine that.
Well, now the kid's got a dog, so normally that should work. But again, it apparently it's not, because it says if that dog won't bark, now he's going to buy a horse and cart. You know, we went through this. Like the bull and cart didn't work. I don't know why a horse and cart would work. Yeah.
And
So-
if that horse and cart fall down, you'll still be the sweetest little baby in town. Okay, listen.
All right.
What is this father doing? Jay, what's the father doing?
well,
I mean, seriously.
according to Anna, apparently he's using up all his Discover card points.
Oh, I see.
So
We're not
I mean,
sponsored, by the way.
No.
It's kind of like going to one of those games where you get all those tickets.
I
Like,
got it.
Yeah, and you bowl or whatever, you get all these tickets, and then it's like, okay, great, I got all these tickets, and then you go to buy stuff, and it's okay. You could have the
Right.
swizzle stick,
Yep.
or you can have the the snow globe thing.
Yep.
It's like, sorry, that's what we have. So
Right.
maybe those were
This
the
is-
choices they were giving the kids.
This is the problem with skeet ball nowadays. Like, you know, and this is probably, this guy's got tickets and he's like, I'm going to calm this baby down. And all he has to choose from is billy goats and looking glasses and bulls and carts. That's all that's up there in the shelf or in the pen or wherever he's looking.
Exactly.
And this is why people don't play skeet ball, because people are like, you know what? I don't need a billy goat. I just want the rubber salamander. And it's not there. It used to be there. Now it's been replaced with a billy goat, and now it's now there's diamond rings, and I don't need that.
Maybe they want
So-
to name their goat something else.
Well said.
I don't know. I mean, if that dog named Rover won't bark, I mean, the dog's not barking anymore. What's going on? Like, why is the dog not barking? If it doesn't bark at all, like,
Well,
why do we move on from that?
They're making a point, like they're saying, because the dog is the mascot.
Oh, I see.
Is so he might have bought a mascot, and that's, I don't know if skeet ball is allowed. Tony, is that allowed? Can you sell mascots, or do you have to have special
Well,
licenses?
I mean, you'd have to negotiate with the mascot. You could trade any, if it's in the contract, you could trade whatever you want, right?
You could trade him for draft picks, I think.
Sure.
Okay, I thought there's special rules governing selling of mascots and interstate trafficking of mascots and things like that.
Well,
No.
if you're going over the border, you got to be careful.
Okay. Okay. All right. We are. We actually have one more issue
Excellent.
left. So
yes, I'm ready.
So why don't we get on to our final issue, and we call this our bubble hockey update. Go ahead, Tom.
Oh, so
Oh,
bubble
okay.
hockey new this year is going to be a bubble hockey all-star game, and they're working on the rules and the format and all that kind of stuff, and they're open a public comment section so that we can voice our opinion, and so I thought we'd come up with some opinions that we could voice.
I'm angry, Tony.
Okay, that's an opinion. Well, actually, that's more of an emotion.
Huh.
I wasn't really looking for emotions. I
Okay.
was looking for opinions.
Okay, it's wrong.
Well, emotions can't be wrong. They just
No, I don't mean my emotion's wrong. It's wrong. Isn't that opinion?
That's an opinion. Yes. So
It's a fact.
we
It's
got
wrong.
one vote against the bubble hockey all-star game. Okay.
Okay.
What?
No,
Well,
I don't know. I just
Oh.
wanted to make an opinion. I'm not really making an opinion about that.
see, the problem. This is the problem. So I go to Jimmy's bar, and my forward is playing great. I just scored 3 goals with him, and I'm thinking this guy. I'm going to see him in the All-Star game. But then you go to Flappy's. And the forward's not even moving, and I can't turn him. I can't score with him. He's got a -2 out there in the second period. So, you know what I mean? Like, which guy is going to the All-Star game, or is he going to the All-Star game at all?
I'd vote for the first one. I mean, if I were going to have a vote on.
We are having
they're
a
talking
vote. We're
about
doing a
having-
vote, right?
Yeah, I mean, they're having fan votes, and they're having, the different countries each put together votes and stuff.
Can we vote? No, I
Well-
mean, can we just vote and decide and not have anybody else decide?
Well, we could, but they don't have to listen to us.
Why not? Why can't they? Why don't we have any say more than anybody? Why don't we just vote?
All right,
and
let's
then
vote.
decide
I vote for Jay's first one at Jimmy's bar.
what? What are we doing at Jimmy's bar? I wasn't listening then. What?
Well, Mike, you got to pay attention when we talk. It's the point of the show is like we have a round table and okay, never mind. So this is a good question posed by Rachel. Like, do the bubble hockey players fight against the foosball players? Yes. So the all-star team of the bubble hockey, they take these guys. So in Jimmy's bar, when you go, there's no forward there. They took him. And now he's mounted. And do they mount him on the foosball pole, or do they put in special levers because they're about to play foosball players?
Jay.
I don't know if this is fair.
Well, I
Jay,
think
I'm sorry,
they
go
do they got the half bubble hockey and the half foosball, so I think they're still on their sticks and they still spin.
The one I saw, Tony, they took the bubble hockey player and mounted him on a foosball table,
Ooh.
and then flip. And when you flip them,
Yeah.
you kind of have to get the
Well,
stick in position when you hit the
I-
ball,
Yeah.
because it comes up. You know what I'm saying? So
I think that was a transporter error when they went to teleport it out of the bubble hockey because you can't get in there otherwise. It landed on the foosball spinny thing. So hopefully they'll fix that fairly soon because that wouldn't be good.
Okay, so new in the All-Star game, Mike, can we put up the image? I don't know if it's going to
I don't
come
know.
up. Hopefully it does.
Try it.
It's the referee guy. So he really wasn't voted in. They were just thinking, well, if bubble hockey players are going to play foosball players, then we probably need a referee because no one really knows which ball we use. Can we use sticks? Can we hit it with this, whatever? So they now have a referee, and the problem is now there's like a lever for the referee, and no one wants that one. Like, people want the players, they want the action, they want to be able to score. You can't really do anything with the referee.
Yeah, he just you got a bar that doesn't go the same way as other bars. It goes sideways like this.
Okay.
It's but next to you, and you have to slide it back and forth. It's just above the little metal
Now,
poles
is it
that go across.
One referee, or they're doing a two-man system?
Each
or a
person gets 2
three-man?
men. Each player gets a referee to slide back and
Okay,
forth.
so it's the sideline, or is it
Sidelines.
the diagonal?
No,
half
no,
diagonal?
it's sideline, but it's above.
Okay,
It's kind of like
'Cause
above
sometimes
one.
they do the diagonal.
I like how your hands
Yeah,
changed,
like
like
that.
warped, like Star Wars when you go close to the camera. Like, do it again, Tony.
Like that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Okay, go ahead.
All right, so someone's saying the foosball players at a disadvantage. They become, they have to move as a line. The bubble hockey players can move independently.
That's true.
So that's a good point.
Great point.
I don't know does the referee then interfere with the bubble hockey players so they're not as mobile, like, because they're coming across? Is that the point?
Well, where did we get the referee from? Do we know which one they picked? Is it?
I think it's from Hasbro. They just kind of did a
Okay.
quick.
But it's not the Russian
ran
one.
a-
He always is it the guy who, the gymnast from Russia, gets a 10, everyone else gives him an 8, or the skater who, everyone gives him an 8, and the Russian guy gives him a 5.
Well, the Soviet ones can only call good plays for the Soviet players, so
Okay.
he's not going to be able to really roll. Like, he doesn't even know foosball players. He doesn't realize these are players.
And does every player get a drop shadow just like that?
Get a what?
A drop shadow? Like, the black outside? Oh, I don't know.
Nice.
I want one.
Yeah. Well, then the bubble hockey players do, and this is the problem. You introduce this guy, now they're like, well, where's my shadow? I don't have one.
Yeah.
This isn't equity. We've talked about diversity, equity, and now we don't have equity.
I don't think we've ever talked about that,
in this
Jay.
game. Well, now they want to talk about it, and
Okay.
now we have a distraction. Now you need to put in an extra quarter so we make sure everything's fair, for the players. And now no one's playing the All-Star game anymore. That's the problem.
But they're making a lot of money, so.
Right. Who cares?
That's the bottom line.
All right. So they're saying give the ref a blowtorch to melt the stick apart. Problem solved. Okay. So now they're trying to melt sticks so it's fair in the foosball. I guess the bubble hockey players can't use sticks. We're going to melt them off. But the problem is then when you melt that off, then you have extra poly resin, and then kids take that, and then pretty soon they start dripping and melting it on players and kids. We've talked about this, let them play their game. Stop melting poly on players. That's not fair. It's not
Ethical.
It's not ethical.
Not equitable.
Yes.
It also melts the ice.
Not economical.
It melts the ice.
It would melt the ice.
It would melt the ice.
Yes.
Surface.
I know. I've also heard that they're gonna, now they're gonna they're gonna simplify the game, so they're really gonna take, instead of all the levers, they're gonna have one lever that moves all the players simultaneously. So you spin it around and all the players move.
Oh.
Really difficult to play that game.
Very
Have you tried that,
efficient,
Jay?
though.
I don't think I possibly even
You'd have
know how
but
to.
you'd have to
do it.
pass to yourself, pass, and then you'd have to get your guy ready to go to pass, and the goalie moves too at the same time, back and forth as you spin it. I don't know what this has to do with anything other than that's something they're doing. I'm way
right.
off topic on it.
So, foosball players, let's see, definitely have a better understanding of teamwork. Wow, so that's pretty strong statement.
Man.
I don't know. I've seen
Camaraderie.
bubble hockey players rally against those Russians. I've seen miracles on bubble hockey ice. Alexis, I don't think that's a fair statement, whatsoever. Tone.
She's right. They move together, though. I mean, just the
They have to
teamwork and the
tone. If
synchronicity.
you and I had a
Oh, that was a good
pole-
CD. I had that album.
Yeah.
Tony, if
Synchronicity.
you and I had a pole shoved through our torsos that we couldn't move, we would be forced to play together, even
Right.
though I might
Right.
not want to play with you.
Right. Well, that's one way of getting everyone on the same page.
So we have to take a vote.
Yep. So, what do we want All-Star game or not? What's the question, Jay?
I kind of forgot.
I think it's whether we want All-Star game. I mean, of
Okay.
course.
Yeah.
In anything, who's going to cover it? In Netflix? I don't know. Of course, All-Star game.
Okay.
I'm in.
We're out of time, but we'd like to thank everyone for joining us for another edition of Issuenight.